Let me ask you something right now. What if I told you that the quality of your entire life, your relationships, your success, your happiness, your pain, comes down to just 3 decisions you make every single day? That's right, not 300, just 3. And you're already making them whether you realize it or not. But the difference between people who live fulfilled, extraordinary lives and those who stay stuck in suffering, frustration, or mediocrity is that the first group makes these decisions consciously. The second, they just react. Today, I'm going to show you how to take back that power. Because the moment you master these 3 decisions, you shape your destiny. Now, listen to me, life isn't about what happens to you. Life is about what you do with what happens to you. And that power, that steering wheel of life, comes down to decisions. So what are these 3 life-shaping decisions? Decision #1. What you focus on at any moment. You are bombarded with millions of bits of information. But your brain can only consciously focus on a few, and the question is, what are you choosing to focus on? Are you focusing on what's missing, or what's there? What you can't control, or what you can? The past, or the possibilities of now? Because where focus goes, energy flows. You can take 2 people in the same situation. One sees a curse, the other sees a gift. One sees destruction, the other sees a lesson. The only difference, focus. If you focus on what's wrong, you'll always feel stuck. But if you train your mind to focus on what's strong, you'll find power in every challenge. Decision #2. What things mean. The second decision that controls your life is the meaning you give to things. Let me be real with you, nothing in life has any meaning except the meaning we assign to it. 2 people lose their job. One says, "This is the end," and gives up. The other says, "This is the beginning," and reinvents themselves. One meaning destroys, the other drives. What's the difference? The choice, your interpretation, is more powerful than the event itself. Pain can mean punishment, or it can mean growth. A breakup can mean rejection, or it can mean redirection. You choose, you assign the label. And that label will shape your actions, your emotions, and ultimately your future. Decision #3. What you're going to do. Here's the third decision, and this one brings it all home. It's what you decide to do. Because once you focus on something, and you give it meaning that instantly influences your actions, will you step up, or will you shut down? Will you be courageous or cautious? Will you move forward, or sit back and complain? We've all had moments where fear was screaming in our ear, where doubt had its grip on us. But the people who rise, who become leaders, who find joy, who build lasting love, who create impact, they don't wait to feel ready. They decide, "I'm doing this," and decision is the ultimate power. One decision can change your entire life. So hear me now, these 3 decisions are not made once in a lifetime, they're made every single day. What you focus on, what it means, what you're going to do. You don't need a new year to change your life. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. What you need is to decide. Because when you choose consciously, when you take ownership of your focus, your meaning, and your action, you stop being a passenger in life, and you grab the wheel. And once you do that, you're not just living. You're leading, you're creating, you're unleashing the life you were meant to live. So decide today. Shape your destiny, because the power has always been and will always be within you. Let's go. Every single day, you're hit with an overwhelming amount of information, emotions, experiences, and distractions. But your brain can't process it all. It has to filter. That filter is focus. And here's the truth. What you choose to focus on determines how you feel, what you believe is possible, and ultimately, the results you get in life. Focus is not just about what you see. It's about what you choose to see. Most people focus on what's wrong, what they don't have, what could go wrong, or what they fear. And then they wonder why they feel stressed, anxious, or stuck. But a shift in focus, just a single conscious decision to redirect it, can completely transform your internal world. Think about it. Two people can go through the exact same experience. One feels defeated, the other feels empowered. Why? Because they focused on different aspects of the same situation. One saw failure, the other saw feedback. One focused on the pain, the other on the possibility. Your brain is like a heat, seeking missile it locks onto whatever you give it. If you consistently focus on your limitations, you reinforce them. But if you train your focus on your strengths, on gratitude, on solutions instead of problems, you unlock energy, resourcefulness, and momentum. You can't always control your environment, but you can absolutely control your focus. This isn't some fluffy idea. It's a discipline. High performers, fulfilled people, leaders, they all consciously decide every day what they're going to focus on. They ask better questions. What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? What's great about this situation, even if it's tough? That kind of focus changes your emotional state, and your emotional state drives your behavior. So the first decision you must make every single day is, what am I going to focus on? Am I going to focus on what I can't control, or what I can, on what I'm afraid of, or what I'm grateful for, on my problems, or my purpose? This decision is the difference between living in fear or living in freedom. It's the difference between a life of reaction or a life of creation. When you command your focus, you command your life. The second decision you make every day that shapes your life is the meaning you assign to things. Every experience, every situation, every word spoken to you is neutral until you interpret it. The meaning you give to an event determines how you feel, and how you feel determines what you do. The truth is, nothing in life has any built-in meaning. It's not the event that defines your experience, it's the story you attach to it. And the moment you shift the meaning, you shift the power. Two people can go through the exact same struggle. One person says, "This means I'm a failure," and they shrink. Another says, "This means I'm being prepared for something greater," and they rise. It's the same external event, but a completely different internal result because of the meaning they gave it. Meaning turns pain into purpose. Meaning turns obstacles into opportunities. It's not about denying reality, it's about deciding how you want to respond to it. When you assign a negative meaning to something like "I'm not good enough," "This always happens to me," "People can't be trusted," you lock yourself into a state of limitation. But when you take control and give it a new, empowering meaning like "This is a test I'm going to pass," "This is my chance to grow," or "This challenge is shaping me into a stronger version of myself," you gain emotional leverage. That leverage becomes fuel for transformation. This decision is the birthplace of resilience. It's how people who have faced tragedy come out stronger. It's how leaders are born in the middle of chaos. It's how someone can go through hell and still find peace, joy, and love. It's not magic. It's meaning, and meaning is a decision. It's the power to reframe your story and rise above your circumstances, not be defined by them. Every time something happens, big or small, ask yourself, what else could this mean? Train yourself to find the empowering perspective, the one that gives you strength, wisdom, and movement. The quality of your life isn't shaped by your past, it's shaped by the meaning you choose to give your past, your present, and your future. The third decision you make daily that shapes your life is what you're going to do. Action is where your focus and meaning come to life. You can have a powerful vision, a deep sense of purpose, and a strong belief system. But if you don't take action, nothing changes. It's the difference between intention and transformation. Every single day, you are faced with the opportunity to either act from your highest potential or shrink back into old patterns. That choice, made repeatedly, becomes the direction of your life. People often wait to feel confident before taking action. They wait until the fear goes away, the timing is perfect, or the plan is flawless. But the truth is, confidence is a result, not a prerequisite. Action comes first. Emotion follows motion. When you take bold action, even in uncertainty, your brain starts building evidence that you are capable. With each step, your courage grows, your clarity improves, and momentum builds. It's in the doing that the fear begins to dissolve. We are not defined by what we could do. We are defined by what we actually do. And most people don't fail from a lack of desire. They fail from a lack of consistent action. Think about the moments that changed your life. They weren't moments of comfort. They were moments where you acted despite the doubt, the fear, or the discomfort. And those decisions created breakthroughs. What you decide to do day in and day out becomes your habits, and your habits form your identity. Small, consistent actions, aligned with your vision and values, compound into massive results. The challenge is that action doesn't always feel good in the moment. It's easier to delay, to procrastinate, to retreat into distractions, but those temporary comforts cost you long-term fulfillment. When you choose action over avoidance, you build trust with yourself. You become the kind of person who follows through, who leads, who creates. Each day you wake up, you're at a crossroads. One path leads to growth, the other to stagnation. And you get to choose, not once in a while, not just on big days, but every day. What you do consistently becomes your reality. The life you dream of isn't built in giant leaps. It's built in daily, deliberate decisions to act. Every breakthrough in life starts with a conscious decision. Not a wish, not a hope, not a vague intention, but a real, decisive moment when you say, enough is enough. This is where everything changes. That's when the shift begins. Change doesn't happen just because time passes. People don't suddenly wake up successful, fulfilled, or in love with life. They decide. They draw a line in the sand and commit to a new standard. That decision becomes the pivot point for a new trajectory. The power of decision is often underestimated because it seems so simple. But decision is what separates those who live reactively from those who live intentionally. In that moment of decision, you cut off all other options and declare, "This is who I am now. This is what I stand for." When you make a real decision, you don't leave space for excuses or backup plans. You align your identity, your energy, and your actions behind it. It's not about trying. It's about committing with your whole being. Most people never make true decisions. They say things like, "I'll try," or "I hope," or "maybe someday." But that's not a decision. That's a wish. A real decision is backed by action. A breakthrough comes when you no longer tolerate the gap between where you are and where you know you're meant to be. That internal pressure becomes the fire that drives lasting change. It fuels you when motivation fades and when challenges show up. Look at anyone who's transformed their health, their career, their relationships, or their mindset. Every one of them can point to a moment when they finally decided, no more. That clarity gave them strength. That choice became a turning point. It wasn't about waiting for external circumstances to change. It was about stepping into their own power and saying, "I'm in control now." You don't need to have it all figured out before you decide. The path becomes clearer after the decision is made. The moment you commit, the universe starts to respond, resources show up, opportunities appear, people enter your life, but none of that can happen until you first decide. Waiting for certainty keeps you stuck. Deciding creates movement. That's where breakthroughs are born. Emotion follows motion. That simple truth is one of the most powerful forces in shaping your daily experience. Most people believe they have to feel motivated before they take action. But that's backwards. Action creates emotion. When you move your body, when you shift your physiology, when you engage with life instead of waiting for it to inspire you, your emotional state transforms. Your energy rises, your mindset sharpens, and your outlook improves. Not because something outside changed, but because you moved first. Think about a time when you didn't feel like doing something, working out, having a tough conversation, making a decision, but you pushed yourself to take the first step. Once you got into motion, your feelings changed. You gained momentum, you started to feel stronger, more capable, more clear. That's the power of motion. It overrides the paralysis of emotion. And when you move with purpose, your emotions begin to align with your intentions. Your emotional state is not fixed. You're not stuck with how you woke up feeling. You can change it, direct it, elevate it, starting with how you use your body. Motion means movement, and movement means power. The fastest way to change how you feel is to change what you're doing. Stand up taller, breathe deeper, speak with strength, move with energy. Those signals tell your nervous system a new story, and your emotions will follow. This principle also applies to your goals and dreams. You don't wait to feel certain before you act. You act until you feel certain. You don't wait to feel like a leader. You lead until the feeling catches up. Every time you take motion in the direction of your vision, whether it's a small step or a massive leap, you generate emotional fuel. And that fuel is what keeps you going when things get tough. Most people get stuck in patterns of overthinking, analyzing, and hesitating, waiting for the perfect state of mind to arrive. But emotional states are not created by thought alone. They are created through physical engagement with life. When you move, you break the cycle. When you move, you signal to your brain that change is happening. And that change in motion shifts your internal world, rewires your emotions, and builds unstoppable momentum. Mastering the 3 decisions, what to focus on, what it means, and what to do, leads to lasting fulfillment and personal power. These are not one-time choices. They are daily commitments that shape the quality of your life in real time. When you consistently take control of these internal decisions, you begin to operate from a place of purpose instead of reaction, from clarity instead of confusion, from strength instead of fear. That's where transformation begins, not just externally, but in how you experience life from within. Most people drift through life reacting to circumstances, letting their emotions, environment, or other people decide how they feel and what they do. They give up control without realizing it. But those who master these 3 decisions reclaim their power. They live by design, not by default. They don't just hope for happiness. They create it. Because fulfillment isn't found in the next achievement or relationship or possession. It's found in the consistent way you engage with life through the lens of conscious choice. Focus is the gateway. Meaning is the interpreter. Action is the amplifier. When you align all 3, you create a powerful feedback loop. You start focusing on empowering things, giving those things powerful meanings, and taking purposeful action based on that alignment. The result is a sense of inner congruence, a life where your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are working together instead of pulling you apart. And that's what gives you emotional resilience. You become the kind of person who can face any situation and respond with strength and intention. Even when life throws challenges, even when things don't go your way, you don't collapse, you don't spiral, you pivot, you adapt, because you know that your power isn't found in perfect conditions. It's found in how you choose to engage with what is. That choice, made daily, brings peace, energy, and an unshakable sense of self. This is the foundation of real success, not just achievement but fulfillment, not just movement but meaning. When you master these 3 decisions, you don't need to chase life. You start to live it with depth, intensity, and purpose. You stop settling and start leading from your values, from your vision, and from a place of inner certainty.